Oops, forgot to turn that on. There we go. Okay, cool. Test. Is the audio working? Hello, David. Hope you're doing well. Let me know how the audio's doing. I shifted it a bit. I accidentally clicked something and it essentially reset it. So had to reset. So, okay, cool. Matt Smith, hope you're doing well. I'm doing good. John Ray, same goes for you. Hope you're having a good day, morning, night. Don't know where everyone's calling in from, but hope you are doing well. Just let me finish up this real quick. Apologies for being late. Just started running behind and it quickly escalated into just being really late. So, yeah, Brickyard 400. I guess let's get these results up here so you can see them. There you go. There is the Brickyard 400 results. You can now see them. Obviously, the winner, Kyle Larson. It's his, what did I say yesterday, his third crown jewel victory. Yeah, so we'll talk about him. We'll talk about the whole race. Speaking of Kyle Larson, do I want to make the announcement now of what we're going to be doing during the off time, during the Olympic break? Do I want to do that now or wait until the prime of the stream, the middle of the stream? I'm going to wait. I've decided I'm going to wait. But later in the stream, I will be making an announcement about the videos I will be for sure doing during the Olympic break, because it's not guaranteed that we're going to have news or anything. I don't know when news is going to happen, or it's hard to predict that stuff sometimes. And then as for everything else, obviously we don't have races for the next couple of weekends outside of just F1 has one race, the Belgian Grand Prix. But as for NASCAR doesn't have much going on. So I will have some videos that I will start working on. I think I looked at my calendar earlier today. I think Thursday is when I'm going to start them. If not Thursday, it's going to be Wednesday or Friday. So later this week. I think that's better. In between the lanes. What's up? Speaking of, before you can ask it, I will answer it. In between the lanes, you're going to ask about paint schemes. Kyle Larson, obviously. That Arrow McLaren Hendrick cars mashup. It's a neat looking paint scheme. It's something different than the normal Hendrick cars paint scheme that we see. Ross Chastain, his Moose car always looks good, whether it's the black and red or the red and black, depending on which way you look at it. Other ones. I like Todd Gilliland. They switch things up on the generator or whatever they call it. It's usually red and black, but it was mostly black with like a little bit of gold in there. So I thought that was a good looking scheme. Yeah, you said the patriotic scheme for Kyle Busch, the Cheddars, red, white, and blue. Who else? Brad Keselowski's scheme looked good up front. The black and orange. Who else? Trying to think who else there is. Auto owners insurance for Truex. Yeah, that's a good looking one. I think he's had better looking auto owners, but that's just my opinion. Let's see. I guess I'll tell you what I'm mad about. Not mad, but Chase Elliott, they keep running that white Napa car, and it looks like a test car to me. I use that word a lot when I don't like a paint scheme. When it's all one color, when it's all white, all gray, all black, and there's no attempt at something. But the navy one looks great. The blue one looks great with the yellow stripe, the white stripe. It looks great. It's not too much. It's not too little. The white one is too little. Why do they keep running the white Napa scheme? I don't like it. I'm sorry, Chase Elliott fans. I don't like the white Napa scheme. The blue Napa scheme, though, I'm a big fan of. I just wish they would run, as I said, I wish they would run the blue one more. So let's see here. Yesterday, controversy in the Brickyard 400. Yeah, obviously some controversy there at the end. Other than that, it's weird because the race, it was so difficult to pass, and that's always been the story at Indianapolis because it's a one grooved, it's a flat track, it's a fast track. So it's so hard to pass. You really got to work multiple laps to set up passes, or you got to be like way faster than someone, or in Larson's case yesterday, everyone in front of you has to be saving fuel. So it's extremely difficult to make moves, to pass. And so the strategy aspect made it exciting, but the first stage felt like, I don't want to say a waste, but everyone had to pit, and it just was kind of like, all right, stage one happened. But then after that, it got a little bit more exciting. And that last stint was thrilling, watching Larson and Reddick just go up through the field, making passes slowly, getting to the front. And then those last few laps, it was like, is Brad Keselowski going to make it? And if he doesn't make it, can Ryan Blaney make it? And so it was just really intriguing, really exciting. And then Kyle Busch just wrecked himself because he wanted one more spot when he doesn't even need to worry about points. He needs to win at this point. So I don't get why he did that. I really don't. But it ultimately set up for a controversial end with the restart. Did Larson jump the start? What was the other controversy? Should they have thrown the caution? Should they have stayed green? I mean, when should they have thrown the caution? I mean, it was just a little bit crazy there at the end when it did not need to be. Let's see here. Always like the monster paint schemes. Yeah, I like the Beast Unleashed or whatever. They got a little bit more green in there, you know. So, yeah, that's a little bit more exciting if you ask me than just the basic monster scheme. But that's just my opinion. Looks like AAA replaced Hooters on Chase Elliott. No, I think that was just an associate with Napa. Napa's got all these side associates. John Hunter Nemechek led some laps. Yeah, John Hunter Nemechek actually showed some speed. I don't know if it's just because people were saving fuel or whatnot, but that's the most speed I've seen out of Legacy all year. And John Hunter's had a couple good races this year. Chicago, he was up front for a bit this week, and other than that, I can't think of a single good thing that went, or a single thing that's gone good for Legacy this year. I mean, Jimmy's crashed in every race he's been in except for one, and when he does run and he doesn't wreck, he's running in the 20s. Though yesterday, I'll give him credit. He was up in the top 15 when he crashed. They were playing the strategy quite well. He was holding his own up there in the top 15, as I said. But outside of that, man, Eric Jones got hurt. Hasn't been heard from much this year. John Hunter, as I said, has had those couple of flashes like we saw yesterday, like we saw at Chicago. Outside of that, though, Legacy Motor Club has been irrelevant. It's been a tough transition to Toyota. So, yeah, tough time for them. Kyle Busch needs to be on Pat McAfee more often. Yeah, I listened to that whole segment. We talked about it on one of the days this week. I guess that was Thursday or Friday. But Kyle Busch obviously saying payback's coming and all that. Seemed to have a good time, seemed to be loose, relaxed, and all that on that show, on that whatever we want to call it, talk show, live stream, what is it technically called? I don't know, podcast, live stream thingy. I'll watch it. But yeah, that was fun. That was exciting. He had some funny quotes in there. They talked about some different things. So it was fun to get some different perspective, a different side of Kyle Busch that we don't always see, obviously. Kyle Larson made contact with Martin Truex Jr. and then Ross Chastain. Yeah, that was a weird one because at first it looked like Larson washed up into Truex. Then on the replay, it looked like Truex wrecked himself. And then it looked like Truex was mad at Chastain for what happened on the straightaway. It was a very confusing situation. I still don't know what to make of it, honestly. Because as I said, like Chastain, they hit doors on the straight, and then Truex kind of sent it, and Larson didn't really wash up the track that much. But at Indy, anything is making a difference. So I can't tell if Truex wrecked himself, if Larson got into him, if there was a problem after the contact from Chastain. That was the weirdest situation, I guess, that we saw all day long. So, yeah. Ross Chastain, Tony Stewart were other drivers on Pat McAfee's show. I didn't know that. Was that like this week? Was that way in the past? Is that like scheduled for the future? Because I did not know that at all. I missed that. But just hold on. Looking through the results here, Larson Reddick, that's like the third time they finished 1-2 this year. Vegas, what was Larson's other one? Not Kansas. Sonoma, maybe? And then where else has Larson won? Larson's won Vegas, Kansas, Sonoma. Well, yeah, there we go. There's a 4. So I think 2 or 3 of the 4 wins that Larson's had, Reddick has been right there in second place. I can't remember who finished second at Sonoma. I could look it up. I'm just going to quickly go on my phone here so we don't have to distract from the Indy results. But yeah, so kind of a weird top 15. So that top 4 is pretty normal. Even the top 5, Bubba gets some top 5s every once in a while. But then we go from like 6th to 16th. We got Todd Gilliland in the top 10, Cindric in the top 10, Suarez, Gregson in the top 10. We got Stenhouse in 11th, Hocevar 12th, Austin Dillon 13th, Corey LaJoie 14th. But as for Sonoma, who finished runner-up at Sonoma? McDowell. Oh, Michael McDowell finished second at Sonoma. I was very wrong on that one. I'm very wrong a lot, but apologies for being very wrong. Anyways, yeah, just kind of a weird little mix-up from 6th to about 14th. And then we see some of our normal hitters. We see Chase Elliott in there. We see, as I said, the top 4 pretty normal for sure. Even 5th kind of normal. 15th, Ross Chastain, McDowell. Zane Smith's been picking it up. He's been a little bit more consistent as of late. Being in the top 20 more often. Being up there in the top 5 at Nashville at the end. Qualifying in the top 10 at Pocono. Zane Smith's starting to pick it up. I still can't believe this, man. I thought this was some weird dream I had. Cody Ware and Ty Dillon, 18th and 19th. Who would have thought, who would have guessed that those two would be in the top 20 alone next to each other in the top 20? All right. Justin Haley, another top 20 for him and Rick Ware Racing. How about the double top 20 for Rick Ware Racing? Cody Ware and Justin Haley. And then just going down the line, Denny Hamlin, BJ McLeod. They brought the starting park back, baby. And I'm sure we'll go look at the points here in a minute as I go back to the comments here. Talked about that. How many wins does Rick Hendrick Motorsports have this year? That's a good question. 4 from Larson, 3 from Byron, 1 from Elliott, 1 from Bowman. So that's 4 plus 3 is 7, 8, 9. They got 9 wins. So there's your answer there. I always like it when the easy math questions come my way. It makes me feel good about myself when I know I suck at math. Denny Hamlin needs a Brickyard 400 to win every crown jewel. Kyle Larson, Daytona 500. And the Hamlin one, I know Hamlin doesn't have a lot of Brickyards left because he's getting up there in age, but I feel like that's more realistic because Larson is so bad at the super speedways and it's such a crapshoot that anything can happen. But, yeah, I mean, to get that career crown jewel is extremely difficult. It's an extremely exclusive list. I think only 5 drivers have had it happen. Gordon did it. Gordon has multiple of all the crown jewels. I think Dale Earnhardt did it. I think Jimmy Johnson did it. That might be it, man. That honestly might be the list. There might be a couple more on there that I'm forgetting. Dale Jarrett maybe. I don't know. But for drivers to win the Southern 500, to win the Brickyard, to win the Daytona 500, and the Coke 600, to win at least one in their whole career. I saw this graph of it earlier. There's only 4 guys, I think, on the list. Maybe it's 5. I'm definitely forgetting someone. But, yeah, it's going to be tough for Both of them. Hamlin just because he doesn't have that many years left to win the Brickyard, and then Larson just because it's a super speedway, and that is his weakest style of racing in NASCAR. So he's got a lot to do. Let's see. Daniel Hemrick, top 5. At one point, I think Justin Haley was in the top 10. Yeah, that was due to strategy, but Hemrick was holding his own. I tell you what, Hemrick gets a lot of crap, and he was holding his own up there in the top 5, holding off Kyle Larson for a bit there. And then eventually, obviously, Larson got by. Hemrick ran out of fuel and had to pit, and then he was involved in a crash, and ultimately he finished, let's see, what did he finish here? 30th. So, an average, I feel like, finish for Daniel Hemrick there. I'm sure his average finish is actually better. In fact, I could tell you if it's better. Let's go to the standings. Oh, it doesn't tell you the average finish on here. Never mind. But Daniel Hemrick's down here in 30th in points. So. Ooh, Denny Hamlin now has led the most laps this season. He overtook Kyle Larson. Very interesting. Larson, he hasn't led a lot of laps. He only led 8 or so yesterday. He didn't lead any at Pocono last week. Chicago, he led a few, like 3 or 4, not a lot. And then, what was before that? Nashville, he might have led some. But other than that, he hasn't led a lot of laps recently. But, yeah, here's your point standings. Regular season battle continuing to be nice and tight between the top 3. And then Hamlin's still technically in it, but he's a little bit back. He's losing ground, and there's not a lot of races to make up that ground. And then Blaney is pretty far out. Byron, I would say, is officially out of it. But I'd say realistically, it's going to be Larson, Elliott, or Reddick. Hamlin, he's got a shot of the top 3 to start wrecking, or, if they all wreck at Daytona and he wins Daytona. But realistically, that's going to be your top 3 in any order, I would say. But, yeah. And then I'd say Hamlin's probably feeling good about 4th. And then it's a dogfight from 5th to 8th, I would say. What's up, Get Me Today! Exclamation point tech. Hope you're doing good. Glad you're here. Someone earlier said fantasy. I can't remember. Speaking of, I should go to the fantasy. I don't even remember how I did this week. I think I had Denny in my line. Yeah, I had Denny in my lineup. Well, that's unfortunate. Let's see how I did on the head-to-heads. I picked Truex to beat Blaney. Well, that went horrible. I picked Brad to beat Bowman. Well, that stinks. Wait, did I? Does the check mark mean I picked him, or does that mean who is? Yeah, that's who I picked. All right, so Truex went terribly wrong. Brad, while it took some help, went right. Reddick, all right, good job, me. And then I picked Logano, and that went horribly wrong. All right, but here's the real reason we're here. Dan, the Jets fan, now has a 40-point lead, which I feel like is a lot in this league. But then again, we got 4,000 points through however many races it's been. Pins _22. Big Hat LJ still in contention. Dr. Zero right there, a little bit farther off. There's a little bit of a gap there. But then Zerkman 95 is right there. I am way off compared to those top 5. And then we got RT Racing. I got a good gap too. And then it's a little bit closer between RT Racing and Factor Autosport Incorporated. Matt Smith 53 is a little bit off, but not too far. And then it's another drop off, and then it's another drop off, and then it's another drop off. That's close right there. And then we got a huge drop off from 14th to 15th. If someone remembers to log in one week, someone will jump someone here. So Stevie G, Shane Van Hamburger Buns 45 and 2311 fan. If one of you remembers to log in this week, or, well, actually, ignore that. If one of you remembers to log in 3 weeks, then you will jump up a couple of spots. So there you go on the fantasy standings. Let's go to the playoff leaderboard. Playoff picture. There's your guys who are in. I'm going to read a couple comments, and then I'm going to just go ahead and announce what we're doing for the next couple of weeks. So, let's see here. Kyle Busch just needs a Daytona 500. Yeah, to complete the Kyle Busch, Kyle Larson, and Brad Keselowski all need a Daytona 500 to complete the career crown jewel. What are we going to call that? The career crown jewel. I think that's just the easiest way to put it. That's the only one they need. And then Denny Hamlin only needs the Brickyard. And then Truex needs 2 of the 4. He needs Daytona and Indy. Austin Dillon needs 2. Ironically, Austin Dillon's next in line to get his 3rd. Austin Dillon's won a Coke 600 and Daytona 500. Who else? Cindric's only won 1. Byron's only won 1. Christopher Bell's only won 1. Well, I guess I could just look at the point standings. Elliott shockingly has 0. I would say that's shocking at this point of his career with what he's accomplished. Blaney has 1. He is the Coke 600. Reddick has 0. I don't think he has any. We talked about Brad. Joey has a Daytona. Joey has... That's it. Joey only has 1. That's extremely shocking. He doesn't have a Coke 600. He doesn't have a Southern 500. He's only got the 1 win at Darlington. It was a spring race. And then Brickyard he's never won at. That's even more surprising than Elliott not having any, is that Joey only has 1. I'm just going down the line here. Buescher doesn't have any. Chastain doesn't have any. Bubba doesn't have any. Briscoe doesn't have any. Kyle Busch we talked about. McDowell has 1. McDowell has a Daytona 500 to his name. Stenhouse has 1. He has a Daytona 500. Eric Jones has 2 Southern 500s, so he's got multiple crown jewels. It's just that it's the same crown jewel. So a lot of different crown jewel winners in this field currently, I guess. So, you get me today, ! Text says he still has confidence in Chris Buescher winning a race and locking himself into the playoffs as my chair falls apart here. Yeah, I mean, the good thing for Buescher, I know he's plus 17 here. We'll get you the bubble. I think you can see that. Yeah, that's better. Buescher's plus 17, which is not a good number. Just to put it straight up, it's not a good number. He's not going to be sleeping these next 3 weeks. But he's the defending winner of Richmond, he's the defending winner of Michigan, and he's the defending winner of Daytona. Well, guess what the next 3 races are? Richmond, Michigan, and Daytona. So Chris Buescher's got to be feeling pretty decent about himself in terms of he's going to tracks that he's won at, not just won at before, but he's won at recently. He's the defending winner of the next 3 races. I'm not saying he's going to go out and win all 3 of these races, but Richmond, he's going to have a good shot. Short tracks are great for Ford. Buescher, obviously, really good at Richmond. He won this race last year. 2 years ago, he was runner-up. Daytona, RFK is always good at the super speedways. Michigan, it's a little bit more of a question mark, I would say, but I would say RFK's picked it up on the intermediates as of late, really since May when we saw Buescher compete for the win at Kansas. So the irony is that Darlington race in the spring could be the difference between Buescher making it or not. Not just because he didn't win, but if Reddick passes him cleanly, goes on to win the race, and Buescher finishes second, he's got 30 more points to his name because he would have run second versus finishing 31st, 32nd, whatever he finished in that race. So, yeah, that ultimately could be the difference, which is just kind of crazy to think about here in, July, late July, that a race back in May, one consequence, could ultimately be the difference between Chris Buescher, Prosper Texas' own Chris Buescher, competing for a championship or not. Harrison Burton was rushed up way too quickly, only got 1 season in trucks and 2 Xfinity seasons. Yeah, I mean, in hindsight, looking at it now, you could say he was rushed up too quickly, but that last season he had an Xfinity. I think he had 4 wins in that final season with Joe Gibbs Racing. And you could argue, you're supposed to win that many races with Joe Gibbs Racing in an Xfinity car. But the fact of the matter is, he did it. He impressed. He's a young driver. He was a coveted talent at the time. And ultimately, he just didn't live up to it. The Wood brothers struggled a bit. Obviously, he himself struggled in that car, but it just didn't work out. So I don't think he gets a cup ride in 2025, but we'll see where he ends up. Trucks, Xfinity, does he take a sabbatical maybe? I don't know if that's the right word, but we'll see what Harrison Burton ends up doing in 2025. But your guess is as good as mine because I haven't read anything on it yet. Hendrick Motorsports, sweep the crown jewels, the Daytona 500, Brickyard, same last time as 2014. They didn't sweep in 2014. Gordon won the Brickyard. I know that. Daytona was Dale Jr., so that's 2. Southern 500. Nope, Harvick won the Southern 500 in 2014, and then the Coke 600 was Jimmy. So they were 3 of 4. So they could do the same this year. They win the Southern 500, they'll go 3 of 4 because Bell won the Coke 600, so that ruined that possibility for Hendrick. But yeah, I don't know. That's a good question, though. When's the last time an organization swept the crown jewels? Man, it's a valid question. I don't know. I'm thinking here. Well, we just got to think it. My guess would be Gibbs in maybe 18 or 19 when Hamlin won his, or 19-20. So 2020, Hamlin won the Daytona 500. The Coke 600 was Brad, so that eliminates that year. 2019, Denny won the Daytona 500. The Coke 600 in 2019 was won by Truex, so there you go, 2 for 2. Brickyard 400 was Harvick, so that ruins that possibility. 2018 Daytona was Austin Dillon. I don't even have to talk about 2018. I just know that RCR didn't sweep in 2018. 2017 Daytona winner was Kurt Busch. Coca-Cola 600 in 2017 was Austin Dillon, ironically. 2016, Denny Hamlin. All right, so we're going to have a possibility here. Coke 600 in 2016. Oh my. This might be too far back for me to remember. Who won the Coke 600 in 2016? Was it Truex? Truex. But he was Furniture Row. So that eliminates it. But maybe if we do this by manufacturer, so that we go to the Southern 500, Truex won it that year too. So that leaves the Brickyard. Hey, Toyota swept the crown jewels in 2016. So we got there eventually. But Truex winning the Southern 500 and the Coke 600 with Furniture Row ultimately ruins that possibility. Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. Hope you're doing well. Ryan Sieg has a huge points day this past weekend. Yeah, he did. Before that, I'm going to tell you guys about what I'm doing during the Olympic break. So, in case you do not know, in fact, I'm going to hide my screen real quick. I will bring it back any minute. I just got to pull up a playlist because if you've followed this channel for a while, you know where I'm going right now. Because I do this every year. I do this playlist, I do this, and then I get the same comments, so I want to actually talk about it. I'll probably end up clipping this and making it a video just to emphasize the point. But, oh, dang it, it's going to play the videos. Oh, no, there's an ad. Oh, no. Okay, we can't have, no, okay. All right, this is backfiring terribly. All right, now you have to look at my face. Why can't it just pop up on the thumbnail? Anyways. Okay, I got to figure out a way to do this differently. Okay, give me one more second. This is going to take another second. Oh, wait, I'm going to use this to my advantage. I am going to zoom. Yes. The zooming feature always saves me. You're going to see some other stuff on the side, but thankfully it's relevant. Okay, the screen. What we are doing in 2024 during the 2-week Olympic break on weekdays and a couple of weekends is we are going to do the championship cases for the 2024 playoff drivers. So far, we're not going to do them for guys who haven't locked themselves into the playoffs. We'll only do the guys who have won races this year. So that includes Kyle Larson, Denny Hamlin, Chase Elliott, William Byron, Daniel Suarez. We're going to have a Daniel Suarez championship case, Austin Cindric championship case. Basically, if you don't know what I'm talking about here, every year when the playoffs happen, or before the playoffs happen, I look at the guys who have won races and I make a championship case for each and every one of them. Listen to me here, please. I beg you, because I get these comments every single year. They are not predictions. It is not my prediction. When I make the Austin Cindric, why Austin Cindric will win the 2024 championship, that is not me predicting Austin Cindric to win the championship. That is me looking at the schedule, pointing out Austin Cindric's best tracks and saying, hey, here's how he's going to advance round by round, and here's how he would win the championship. So it's not predictions. It's just me saying, hey, this is the pathway to the championship for each playoff driver. But that's what we're going to be doing. I'm going to start it on Thursday. The first one, we're going to go in points order. So we're going to go with Kyle Larson. He will be on Thursday. And then we'll do Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and so on and so forth. And then I think that second Sunday, I have it scheduled out. Since there's no F1 race, I'm going to do 2 in one day. I have not confirmed that, but tomorrow in a community post, I will make, an official post giving out the schedule. But I just wanted you guys to know that. All right, let's go back to the NASCAR standings. Click out of that. But yes, I lost viewership when announcing that. Maybe I shouldn't announce things anymore. Apologies. But no, for real. I'm always excited to make this championship case videos. I always have fun making them. And yeah, so it should be fun. Bold prediction, Riley Herbst makes the get me today exclamation point. We're going to talk about Xfinity now because I love that prediction. In fact, I believe in that prediction. I believe Riley Herbst can win the championship this year. You may think I'm crazy. Riley Herbst, since 2023, mid-2023, something has changed. If you've watched my videos talking about Riley Herbst, you know that I have hope and faith in him. I don't think he's going to be a future Cup champion right now, but Riley Herbst has vastly improved over the last season or so. It was about mid-2023 that something started to click. He started to run top 5 and top 10 much more, but poor cautions and wrecks and mechanical failures ended up costing him a playoff spot last year. And then also they had a slow start to the year. But then in the playoffs, they suddenly were much more consistent. They obliterated the field at Las Vegas, which I witnessed with my own eyeballs. I was shocked. And then this year, they're top 5 in the points. They have a win at Indianapolis. They've led 75 laps. They've looked pretty darn good this year. Riley Herbst, many will argue he's not ready for Cup. I think he might be. I'm not saying that he's ready for a top-tier championship level organization, but he might be. So, that's just my opinion on Riley Herbst. But as for the rest of the Xfinity Series, what a race we had. Speaking of Riley Herbst, what a win. I mean, 3 guys fighting for the win, 3 wide coming to the white flag. Eric Almirola takes the white flag, and then Cole Custer and Riley Herbst's teammates have to chase him down. Herbst ends up getting Almirola back. Just a little bit of a bump. I mean, how fun was that? What a finish. And yeah, a lot of people are going to complain and say, they were running a restricted engine and whatnot, but it was still fun. It was still great racing. It was fair. It was clean. No one had to get wrecked, which I loved, which I appreciated. Just a little bit of rubbing, just a little bit of bumping. Just how NASCAR is meant to be. But yes, Riley Herbst to the Final Four is a legit possibility. Got to be honest with you. Let's see, he has 2 stage wins, so that's 5, that's 7, and then he'll get some bonus points for finishing in the top 10 in the points. I got to be honest with you, I don't know the playoff schedule for the Xfinity Series. I know I have to talk about it for the Shane Van Gisbergen fans. We will have to talk about the playoff schedule, give a playoff preview for the Xfinity Series and whatnot, but the playoffs... Okay, so here we go. We got Kansas, 1.5 miles, which, as I said, Herbst has obliterated the field at 1.5 miles before. Talladega, super speedway, anything can happen. And a road course, which... all right, okay. Well, that may be a little bit more tough. But if he can get out of that round, I feel really good because you got Vegas, he's the defending winner, another 1.5 miles in Homestead, and then we got Martinsville, a short track. Anything can happen there in the Xfinity Series. This is always the race of the year in Xfinity. And then we got Phoenix, which, once again, anything can happen. The Xfinity Series is a little bit more unpredictable at the more normal tracks. So, but going to the playoff picture for Xfinity, let's see here. Someone just pointed it out up here, so I'm going to go look at it. Where are the standings? Why? Oh, because I'm at schedule, that's why. Yeah, sometimes I'm dumb like that, guys. Playoff picture in Xfinity. We have one 3-time winner, Shane Van Gisbergen. We have a couple 2-time winners, Austin Hill, Chandler Smith, Sam Mayer. And then we got Cole Custer, Allgaier, Herbst, Love. Yeah, that's the comment. Get me today, ! Tech. You pointed out, why is Almirola in here? Eric Almirola, you are not a full-time driver. Get out of the playoffs. What is this? What? NASCAR, do you not know your own rules? We're living more controversy by the day. Let's see if they show it on the app. You see the app? No, the app does show it. What in the world? All right, plan B. All right, plan B. Give me a second here, guys. Plan B. NASCAR and NBC usually post the point standings, so. But yeah. Good job. Good job, NASCAR. You didn't put the right, point standings for Xfinity. Oh my goodness. NASCAR and NBC has posted so much media. I'm only to the stage 2 winner of yesterday. Where are the Xfinity points? They usually post this. Maybe it's Xfinity Racing. Xfinity Racing. All right. Plan B. Plan B. And if they don't have it here, I have one plan. Oh, here we go. Look at that. Good job, me. I'm proud of myself. All right, so, and you will be able to see my screen again because I have the Xfinity playoff points now. And of course, I'm covering it up. Let's see here. Oh, I gotta click first, and then I gotta zoom. Oh, too much zoom. Come on. There you go. Look at the beautiful Xfinity standings. In fact, it's right there. Brandon Jones is still in a must-win situation. So yeah, I guess we'll cover him up too. Everyone below Sammy Smith is in a must-win situation. That is what I'm seeing here. Let me get back to the comments so I can actually see him. So here's the thing about the Xfinity Series this year. Usually in Xfinity, we have like Chase Briscoe win 9 races. We have Austin Cindric win 6 races. We have someone winning 5 to 6 races, winning the regular season and having 50, 60 playoff points and just gapping the field to where it's like, all right, yeah, they're going to make the Final Four, no question. We don't really have that this year. There's still 6 races left, and so a lot can happen. You know, someone can get hot. Chandler Smith can go win a couple races. Austin Hill can go win a couple races, but I don't see a clear-cut favorite right now in the Xfinity Series. SVG has the most wins, but the ovals he's still learning, and even if he does get to that round of 8, which I anticipate him doing because there's a road course in that first round, he's got Vegas, which he only has 20 laps on because his engine expired early in that race. Homestead's a brand new track, and Martinsville, he actually did pretty good there. He finished like 11th, and he had a good day. And as I said, that race gets so crazy every single year that maybe he could indeed, find his way in the Final Four. And Phoenix, he ran well in the spring. I'll do a championship case for SVG. Someone made a comment, get me today, ! Yes. I will indeed make a video about that. But realistically, Allgaier is extremely consistent. Chandler Smith is better at the short track, so if he can get to Martinsville, he's got a great shot. And Phoenix, for some reason, he's just incredible at. Austin Hill's been up and down this year. Like they'll show up one week and they'll be great and they'll, do great at the super speedways and whatnot. But then go into some of the speedways, they'll be great top 5 at some of the speedways. But then they'll sometimes just miss it and they'll run 12th. So Austin Hill's a little bit unpredictable. It's the same story for Sam Mayer. Sometimes they show up, sometimes they don't. Jesse Love's a rookie. Cole Custer, he doesn't have the points, but he's the regular season leader. He's got the most points. He should have multiple wins at this point, but the fact of the matter is he doesn't. Things haven't fallen their way. Riley Herbst, as I said, I think, things could happen. I think he could very well find himself in the Final Four just because it's not that big of a points deficit. Allmendinger, they're consistently top 10, but every once in a while they have a stinker. Sheldon Creed, he finishes second a lot. So Parker Kligerman, I think this is where, all right, Sheldon Creed's going to be the cutoff for me. Parker Kligerman, all due respect, he could maybe make the Final Four, but I don't think Parker Kligerman will win the championship. Ryan Sieg, as someone gave me today, exclamation point tech, said, I would love to see Ryan Sieg in the playoffs, but realistically, I don't see him winning the championship. And then everyone else, even if Sammy Smith makes the playoffs, he's in a junior motorsports car and he's barely hanging on to the points here, so I don't see that happening. Even if Brandon Jones wins a race, he's not consistent enough. And then Anthony Alfredo and Brennan Poole, anyone else that wins from far on back, they'll be a first-round elimination unless they win Talladega. So that's my realistic view on the Xfinity Series playoffs, is that any of the top 10 could actually make the Final Four. SVG might be a stretch, but as I said, because it's such a tight points window and SVG has so many of them, and I anticipate him getting some more playoff points at Watkins Glen and the Roval, maybe, just maybe he could find a way to make his way in, but I don't know, man. I don't know who's going to win this Xfinity championship. This is the most unpredictable year in Xfinity. Whatever can happen has happened. Riley Herbst wins a thrilling finish at Indy. The winningest driver is from New Zealand, and he's a rookie, a 36-year-old rookie, 35-year-old rookie. I mean, we got 2 rookies in the playoffs. We've got Big Machine Racing in the playoffs right now. We've got Ryan Sieg Racing in the playoffs. Right? I mean, tell me what's predictable about the Xfinity Series this year. You can't. It's been and that's not a bad thing. That's an incredible thing. It's been so fun to watch the Xfinity Series this year because it's been so competitive, because it's been so unpredictable. We had a photo finish at Texas with Sam Mayer and Ryan Sieg. Who would have thought? So the Xfinity Series, as unpredictable as it is, it's extremely fun. Keep looking over here for the comments. I got it up here too. I got the comments everywhere. The Xfinity Series season opener needs to have the start time at like 7:30 p.m. instead of 5 p.m. because that affects it. Yeah, I remember the season opener got delayed. I was sick, so I had to watch it up Monday night, barely staying awake, but I watched it. But, I mean, the season opener, that's one race. I'm not going to lose my mind over that, but the Xfinity playoffs should be interesting. That's the whole point in this, because there's no gap. Even if Ryan Sieg has 0 he won a stage, by the way, so if he makes it, he has 1 playoff point. That's 16-point differential. That's just crazy right now. That we're 6 races away from the playoff starting. There's only a 16-point differential from first and last. Genuinely crazy. And now, don't get me wrong, these guys are all going to win another race. Not every race, but, Shane Van Gisbergen will win Watkins Glen. Justin Allgaier, if I had to guess, will win another race before the playoffs, so that's some more bonus points for him. Austin Hill will win Daytona. Let's be honest with ourselves here. Sam Mayer may squeak out another win. One of these two could win again. I mean, the possibilities are endless, so realistically, some more points will get added to this side, but could you imagine if, like, Sheldon Creed wins and then Allmendinger wins and just the points continue to stay so short from this to this? So the Xfinity Series, the Cup Series is fairly competitive. Like usually, like last year it was Truex had 40 or 50 points. I think it was closer to 40. 2 years ago, Elliott had almost 50 points. 2021, Larson had like 60 or 70. 2020, Harvick had 70 or 80. Like, usually there's a guy who breaks away. And even the Cup side, there's no big breakaway this year. But once that regular season championship, whoever wins that regular season championship, that's going to be a big, big moment in the Xfinity Series because that's a lot of playoff points. Right now, Cole Custer's got it in hand, so that would be a big moment for Cole Custer defending his Xfinity championship. The Martinsville Xfinity Series night race is good, but the Xfinity Series needs more very competitive series. I mean, the Xfinity night race every year is the race of the year, the playoff race. Last year we had the whole controversy with Austin Hill and Sheldon Creed. 2 years ago we had the controversy with Ty Gibbs and Brandon Jones when they were both at JGR. 2021... Surely something happened that I'm forgetting. There was something. But yeah, no, the Xfinity Series is so competitive, as I just said. Like, look at this playoff picture. It's crazy, man. So, but if I had to, if we're just gonna start making oh, you're talking about the Spring Martinsville. Oh, okay, yeah, no. I don't know what to do with the Spring Martinsville race. I thought you were talking about the fall one, and I was like, that one's always the race of the year. But looking ahead in Xfinity, we can talk about, I guess we can attempt to predict. So Michigan's using the same package they used at Indy, so we could see SHR do really good again. Daytona is unpredictable, but Austin Hill will win. 2nd through 40th will be, your guess is as good as mine. Darlington, JRM looked good in the spring. Justin Allgaier dominated, if I remember correctly. Atlanta, once again, Austin Hill will probably win that one. Watkins Glen, Shane Van Gisbergen will win that one. Bristol, that'll be a fun one to watch. But yeah, just leading up to the playoffs. We got a couple. We got Daytona, Atlanta, Watkins Glen in there. But as I said, Austin Hill will more than likely win the Super Speedways, and SVG will more than likely win the road course. And if we go to Cup, Cup is a little bit more unpredictable on their schedule. Like, they're a little bit more unpredictable in terms of who could win and who might not. Like, Richmond, we could see a Josh Berry. We could see a Chris Buescher. We could see Briscoe maybe. But then Michigan, I mean, as I said, Buescher won that race last year. Bubba's really good at Michigan, so we could see that kind of burst the playoff bubble. And then, what's after Michigan? I have it right here. Daytona, anyone could win that. Like, think about all the different winners we've had in the next gen era at Daytona. Austin Dillon, Stenhouse, Cindric. Well, Cindric's already in, so I guess that removes him from that conversation. But who will the 20? So yeah, it's kind of crazy. Anything could happen. And then Darlington, once again, Bubba did really good there in the spring. Todd did really good there in the spring. Justin Haley, so some alternate strategy, a chaotic late race restart. You never know what could happen. So yeah, the Cup playoffs are going to be a little unpredictable this year. Brandon Jones will win this year. David, that's a little optimistic there. Once again, I don't think Brandon Jones wins. I don't think he makes the playoffs. It's been a struggle for him this year. And unfortunately, I think that continues. So I hate to burst your bubble, but that's just my opinion. But, man, the playoffs in the Cup Series are going to be so dumb this year. Super Speedway, road course, short track, chaotic short track. Normal track, Super Speedway, road course, normal, Phoenix. Phoenix, man. Can't believe they still have the championship. We haven't talked about trucks in a while. Who won? Ty Majeski won. Like, that IRP was shockingly normal. Ty Majeski's been due for a win, though, this year. He's had a couple races where he's run really good, and then just things go wrong late or something. But, yeah. The trucks is a little bit more predictable. We talked about how unpredictable the Xfinity Series is. Well, now we get to the trucks. Corey Heim and Christian Eckes can sleep through the first 2 rounds, and they'll still make the Final Four. Nick Sanchez, I think he can make it. And then I'd say the fight for 4th is where it's at, because you got Ty Majeski, Roger Carruth, and then everyone else. I think it's ultimately going to come down to these 2. Maybe Enfinger or Ankrum could sneak in one of those final spots. But ultimately, one of these guys should win the championship. No disrespect to everyone else, but come on now. Like, these 2 have dominated the series. I mean, if we just look at the playoff points, Eckes has 3 wins and 7 stage wins. Heim has 5 wins and 6 stage wins. So that's 25, 31 points for Heim. That's 22 for Eckes. I mean, it's crazy. It's just absolutely crazy. So one of those 2 should win, but as I said, Sanchez, I could see him. He's got a couple wins on the season. He should make the Final Four. And then that fight for the 4th spot is going to be crazy, because it could be Raja, it could be Enfinger, Ankrum, Majeski. I think it just comes down to how the schedule goes. If it's a bunch of intermediates, Raja's got a great shot. He won at Vegas, obviously. But if it's, round of 8, Talladega, Homestead, Martinsville, it's a mix. It's all 3. Talladega is going to be a crapshoot. Homestead, I'd say that favors Raja out of the guys who I just mentioned. And then Martinsville's a short track, and that's unpredictable. But after what we saw this past week, Majeski, he's great at these short tracks. So there's a possibility where, we get a surprise winner. Like, let's say Grant Enfinger wins Talladega, Raja wins Homestead, and Majeski wins Martinsville. There's technically the possibility. There's always the possibility that Heim or Eckes misses the Final Four, which would be a travesty in my opinion. But that's just me. The finish yesterday was absolute dog water. NASCAR for sure favored Hendrick. No disrespect to Hendrick, but that was bad. Yeah, it was kind of like Richmond, where you could tell he kind of jumped the start, but it was so close and so late in the race. But it definitely looked like he jumped the start. So it's a tough heat of the moment call. Whatever they call or don't call in that situation is ultimately going to get criticized. If they called Larson on it, there would be a ton of people saying, oh, that's BS, that's a terrible call. But they didn't call it, and they got, oh, that's BS, that's a terrible no call. So NASCAR got put in a tough position there. And whatever decision they made, they were going to get criticized. And the one I'm more critical of is the lack of a caution call, because the Priest was sitting there for so long. And I get they want to see if he can get moving, but he was very clearly stuck, and I don't get why they didn't even try to get him, or to try to throw the caution. It's like they wanted that race to be over with. They didn't want a Nashville. They didn't want a 2017 Brickyard 400. Matt Crafton will win this year. Man, Matt Crafton, I haven't heard that. I feel like I haven't heard that name in a while. It's been a while since he won, I feel like. Playoff picture. Is he even in the playoffs right now? No, he's minus 43. He's got one race. He's got to win Richmond. If he doesn't win Richmond, Matt Crafton's out. So, no, he might win a race in the playoffs, but he's not winning the championship, David. So, Taylor Gray could arguably be a threat come playoff time. He's just had a lot of bad luck the past 2 weeks. Yeah, Taylor Gray, that's another guy. As I said, it's kind of like 3 different groups, I would say, in the playoffs. We got Group 1, which is the top tier, and it's 2 people only. Then we got the next best, and it's kind of Sanchez, just kind of sitting there. But you could throw Majeski in there, honestly. Maybe even Raja. But then we got the next group, and I honestly would throw these I'd say Sanchez is kind of in the middle. And then you got just a dogfight from 4th on to 10th, really. Just anything can happen in the truck. So if I had to pick the Final Four today, these two for sure. Sanchez and Martinsville's in there, so I'm going to go Majeski. That's boring. I just picked the top 4. But ultimately, it'll probably end up being like Heim. If it goes full Nash truck mode, it'll be Heim, Ankrum, Tanner Gray, Ben Rhodes, and then Ben Rhodes wins the championship again. Ben Rhodes, man, always winning these championships when no one expects it. Oh, just a reminder to everyone, Ben Rhodes is a 2-time Nash truck champion. He's a defending Nash truck champion. So Ben Rhodes, ladies and gentlemen. Gotta love you some Nash trucks. Raja Caruth wins the championship. I mean, it's possible in this format. How many playoff points does he have? He's got the win at Vegas. He's got no stage wins, but he has top 5 in the regular season standings. You get some bonus points for that. And then, if he just shows up at Phoenix, there you go. So you've got a shot there, David. Let's see here. Got a couple more minutes and then I'll have to go. But yeah, man, the NASCAR season's been a little bit unpredictable in a sense. Just everything that's happened. We've had such a chaotic year, but it's been such a fun year as well because we've had a 3-wide photo finish in Cup. We've had the closest finish in Cup history. We've had a photo finish in Xfinity. The Xfinity playoff picture is all over the place, and there's no clear-cut favorite. You could argue there's no clear-cut favorite in Cup, but we have a few guys who we could pick out. And that's my next question, is who would you put in the Final Four right now? Like, that's a genuine question. Who do you think is the Cup Series Final Four? I'll pull the points back up. Who do you think is the Cup Series Final Four right now? Because I would say Larson will make it. Hamlin will probably make it. But outside of that, man, it's kind of tough to pick. Byron looked strong earlier in the year, but he's kind of fallen off a bit. But if they can pick it back up in the playoffs, you never know. But they got those points in the back. Christopher Bell had that hot summer stretch. If they can find that speed again, then, okay, they're a contender. Blaney's hot right now, and the way the round of 8 works out, Martinsville's great for him. Elliott, he doesn't have the wins, and he hasn't had the winning speed, but he's had the consistency, and he finishes races. Reddick's been extremely fast. They just can't finish races. They've only got 1 win. They should have 4 or something at this point. Brad Keselowski could sneak into that Final Four. Those are 3 really good tracks for him in the round of 8. And then Truex. I mean, Truex isn't in yet, but he's good everywhere. So I'd say these 2 are probably in, but, they don't have exactly a points buffer. And then those next 2 spots, I don't know. All right, give me today, ! Text says Larson, Hamlin, Elliott, Reddick. David says Byron, Larson, Elliott, Hamlin. Right now, if I had to, I'm always loyal, except for last year, ironically, and it almost backfired, but I'm always loyal, except for 2023, to my preseason championship pick. So I'm going to go Bell, Larson, Hamlin, Reddick. If Reddick gets to that round of 8, he's winning Vegas or Homestead, in my opinion. Could have won Vegas in the spring, always good at Homestead. So that's my Final Four as of whatever today is, July 22nd. So I'll go Larson, Hamlin, Bell, Reddick. But honestly, anyone from 1st to 8th and then Truex, I could see making that Final Four. And then with the way the playoffs work out with 2 super speedways and 2 road courses, maybe Suarez could sneak something out. Oh my God. Oh, man. What a time to be alive. Suarez or Cindric sit 19th and 20th in points all year long. And then they make the Final Four because they decided to put 2 road courses and 2 super speedways in the Final Four, or in the playoffs. That'd be something, all right. But, well, in between the lanes, you're back. Well, unfortunately, you're back just in time for the end. So I'm going to wrap it up here. Thank you guys for showing up to another live stream. I always have fun with these things. Playoff pictures in all 3 series are looking a little bit unpredictable, a little bit crazy. It's always fun when it's a little bit unpredictable and a little bit crazy. We had some good races, or I'd say the Xfinity race was great. The Cup Series was setting up to be a great finish, and then the cautions happened. So yeah, who's my pick for Richmond? Yeah, okay. I have to make a Monday pick 3 weeks in advance. All right. Richmond. 3 weeks in advance. Truex. Truex is winning. He's winning his final ever race at Richmond. I feel good about that. It's a boring pick, but I feel good about it. So let me know what your Monday picks are for Richmond. I will look at them. I have my phone here with the comment section on, so I will look at them, see who you guys pick, and I will see you guys in the next one. Once again, thank you for watching. As I said, the championship cases are going to start on Thursday. I'll make a community post tomorrow or Wednesday giving you the schedule, and then any changes I will let you